for air as bystanders looked on. Eyewitness News also observing an individual believed to be the officer pacing nearby in a purple shirt and khaki pants.
No, bro, there ain't no blank, bro. Look how we, bro.
Police say the incident stemmed from a confrontation that began inside the establishment and escalated outside. Investigators also confirmed the man was shot while inside a vehicle, suffering from a gunshot wound to the upper body.
One of the males in that altercation got into his vehicle. The officer felt that the vehicle was coming at him in a threatening manner. He then fired one shot, fatally wounding the driver of that vehicle.
Questions remain tonight about how the victim ended up outside of that vehicle after the shooting. Police tell us they are, quote, looking into all aspects of the incident. However, some bystanders claim the officer removed the man from the vehicle after the shot was fired. Those claims have not been confirmed by authorities. As for the details of the conflict, how many individuals were involved, and how it all began, police say they are still gathering the facts.
Are you able to say if the altercation that ensued was between the victim and the officers, or was it between the victim and other patrons of the establishment?
We are right now, Richie, doing our investigation to determine all of the facts in this matter.
Meanwhile, Plantation Bar and Grill issuing a statement apologizing to patrons for any disruption and thanking the public for their patience and understanding. Investigations are ongoing. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
The country recording its 14th murder for the year, according to Eyewitness News records, after a shooting incident on Sugar Apple Street in the Pinewood Gardens area. The victim, a 48-year-old man, was sitting in a silver Nissan vehicle along with his wife, reportedly looking for a co-worker when an unknown male driving a Nissan Q pulled alongside them and opened fire, shooting the man in the chest. The victim was transported to the hospital but later died. A 26-year-old man sustained a gunshot wound to his right leg during the incident. He told police that he was outside speaking to the victim when another vehicle driven by an unidentified male pulled up, exchanged a brief word with the victim, and then fired multiple shots before fleeing the scene in an unknown direction. He was assisted to the hospital in a private vehicle and remains in serious condition. Police are also investigating a shocking string of crimes, including armed robbery, kidnapping, sexual assault, and extortion that unfolded Saturday night in the capital. Officers say shortly after 10:30, two women were approached by an armed man outside an establishment on East Street and forced them into their vehicle. One woman managed to escape, while the suspect held the other victim and forced her to drive to multiple locations, demanding cash and electronic transfers. Police say the suspect later took the woman to a secluded area off Wolf Road where he allegedly sexually assaulted her. Detectives were able to track the vehicle using technology, and as officers closed in, the suspect reportedly fled on foot. The victim was safely recovered, and police say investigations are ongoing. Still talking news from the crime beat, police in Exuma seizing thousands of dollars worth of suspected marijuana during a drug operation in Georgetown, Exuma. Officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit acting on intelligence conducted a search at the government dock Friday night. They boarded a vessel and during a search of a container, discovered multiple packages of suspected hydroponic marijuana. The drugs are estimated to weigh about 9 pounds with a street value of $22,000. No arrests were made and investigations are ongoing. Well, on to news from the political arena. Party supporters flocking to Bahamas Convention Center Saturday evening for the official launch of the Free National Movement's 2026 election campaign. With 41 candidates ratified and a bold message, the party says it's ready to claim victory at the polls.
A sea of red taking over the Bahamas Convention Center Saturday night as the Free National Movement officially launched its 2026 general election campaign. Hundreds of supporters packing the venue, dancing, cheering, and rallying behind the party's message.
We are working for you.
The energy hitting a fever pitch as party leader Michael Pintard took the stage, following a personal introduction from his wife. Pintard used the moment to push back against claims by the governing Progressive Liberal Party, insisting that an F&M administration would not downsize the public service while calling for an end to what he described as tribalism in politics.
The Bahamas cannot continue to progress if when new governments come in, the first thing that happens is we fire people who were hired under the past administration.
Immigration also taking center stage, with party officials accusing the Davis administration of failing to address what they call a growing crisis.
No one who comes into the Bahamas illegally can ever have a pathway of becoming a Bahamian citizen.
It costs us in the hospitals, where resources are stretched by patients who have no documentation and no payment pathway. And it costs us in education, where classrooms are overcrowded.
On national security, Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright claims that the country's armed forces are being under-resourced, an assertion that government has previously pushed back on, pointing to increased recruitment and investment.
Our defense force and our police need resources, training, and leadership that matches the scale of the challenge. They've been asked to do more with less, year after year.
Healthcare remaining a key battleground, with party representatives describing the system as being in crisis.
Healthcare in the Family Islands is not a system. It is a prayer. And under this government, that prayer has gotten harder to answer.
NHI was supposed to be a promise to the Bahamian people. Instead, it became a debt.
Princess Margaret Hospital is in crisis.
The party also renewing its calls for greater transparency, criticizing the government over delays in freedom of information and campaign finance reform.
We will bring anti-corruption laws with real power. A public anti-corruption bill. A code of conduct for public professionals.
And with a focus on youth and vulnerable communities, the FNM laid out what it calls a corrective action plan ahead of the next general election.
We will implement a phased school bus system that will start by allowing uniformed students to ride public buses free of charge during school days.
This new FNM government will strengthen protection for the vulnerable people, including women, children, the elderly, the persons with disabilities, and the homeless.
In other news, the Organization for Responsible Governance is running full steam ahead with a new voter engagement program. Executive Director Matt Aubrey says the program is called Pathway to the Polls, aiming to inform members of the electorate on how and why it is important to exercise their civic right. Aubrey adding that the end goal is to encourage voters to look beyond the personalities and headlines and get a deeper understanding of the political scene to make an informed judgment at the polls.
And we're really trying to provide information and opportunity about not only just how to register, but why registration and being involved is critical, and then how to use your vote in a way that really pushes people past headlines, personalities, and focuses more on policies and the issues that matter to you, to ensure that whatever the outcome of the election, it really is reflective of the best process for national issues like economic opportunity and governance and resilience, and that it's connected to day-to-day lives. So, as with every bit of information that comes out, we remind folks that it's important to ask questions for yourself. Don't just go based on a number or a headline or what's perceived. Make sure that your ideas and interests are reflected in the process of, in this instance, the elections and the candidates that are seeking your vote, and then after the election in the governance that will determine how the country moves forward.
Meanwhile, a poll shared by the Progressive Liberal Party recently, in which some 805 Bahamians reportedly participated, revealed that if voters participated in a general election today, 38% would vote PLP, 18% would vote FNM, 12% for the COI, and 29% would be undecided. Another question posed: which party is best for the economy? The The party posted its results, claiming that 44% voted PLP, 14% voted FNM, 11% voted COI, and 31% voted undecided. Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis agrees with social media critics who say the number of undecided voters is far too high for the party to assume it will get the majority of votes.
I think we continue to be prepared. We're encouraged by the poll, but what it says to us with a large number of undecided, that means we need to continue to work, to listen to the public, to continue in this time left to implement our policy, and we need to reach those voters who might be undecided and seek to convince them that the work we've done so far from 2021 and the plans that we have going forward justifies their faith in us, and so we want to move as many of those undecideds from the undecided column.
Meanwhile, is the Bahamian real estate market slipping out of local hands? A growing debate tonight after Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament John Pinder called for reform to give Bahamian realtors the edge over foreign and permanent resident agents. Our Janelle Longley takes it from here.
Speaker, is real estate. We have work permit holders out there selling our land. Work permit holders. I believe it should be retroactive and enabled immediately the law to have only Bahamian passport holders selling real estate in our country.
A warning from Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament John Pinder, who says without urgent action, Bahamians could be left at a disadvantage in their own real estate market.
Madam Speaker, it would be disheartening if 50 years from now that we're having this conversation in this House on different industries, just as we are with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We have to be forward thinking.
The core issue: who should benefit most from property sales in the Bahamas? Real estate executive and RE/MAX Bahamas president Matt Sweeting says while he's not taking a hard position, he understands the concern that more of that money could be leaving the country.
When we make money, the first thought that we have is, well, I want to build something back home. And we think about, let's assume that there might be, let's call it 15 to 20% of permanent residents with the right to work. This is not the place where they were born. There's a strong likelihood that the money that they generate from real estate commissions, that they're sending those abroad.
He suggests the focus should be on enforcement and clear policy, not just restrictions.
I think a consideration might be maybe creating a restriction on how many non-passport holders could participate in real estate per year. Maybe there's a cap there. And there might be a different tax structure for people who are permanent residents with the right to work. Currently, the scenario is that they have the same tax structure as we. They pay a value-added tax at the counters. There might be a scenario where they pay a higher tax because they're participating or operating in a country that's not their home.
Meanwhile, the Bahamas Real Estate Association has raised concerns of its own, telling the Tribune that work permit holders are not eligible for real estate licenses, but alleges some may still be operating illegally. The association says those matters have been reported, but enforcement remains a concern. And while many realtors privately support Pinder's position, few are willing to say so publicly, highlighting just how sensitive this issue has become. Janelle Longley, Eyewitness News.
Well, we've just added another access point to make sure that you're up to date with news. Follow the Eyewitness News WhatsApp channel by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting our social media pages for a direct link. And while you're there, don't forget to follow Eyewitness News on Instagram and Facebook. If you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Eye on News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms at eyewitnessnewsbahamas@gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube pages, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. And still to come tonight, a local union chief raising concern over BTVI's action against workers. And later, a new cohort of graduates to help improve efficiency at the National Insurance Board. We've got more on those stories, but first, here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
Bahamian ownership in fly fishing is very important. Not only does it create opportunities for Bahamians, this is our industry, so we're proud of what we do. Opportunity is important. It's the story of my life because with the opportunities, you can chart your own course. Prime Minister Davis and his team see the opportunities by providing these grants and what it can do for our country. It's just wonderful. And I'm glad to see these ventures working so that other people can get involved. This is real. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's help ourselves.
There are a lot of new opportunities in our country. We are building an economy that includes everyone. And you chose to come to PTVI.
The best place to learn.
Expanding and updating PTVI.
It prepared me for the future to be an entrepreneur.
And this is what this is all about. We are creating more opportunities for more Bahamians because opportunity is the key to success.
New roads and airports are connecting our islands. Energy reform is bringing electricity prices down, while young Bahamians are stepping up, gaining new skills for new opportunities. Respect for workers. Support for entrepreneurs. We're modernizing energy and infrastructure across our islands and preparing Bahamians to succeed in a new economy. Transformations this big take time. Let's choose progress.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. 6 years after COVID-19 first reached the Bahamas, the pandemic that once brought the country to a standstill still leaves a lasting impact on the nation's health system, economy, and daily life. Our Rebecca Bain took to the streets to find out how people are reflecting on that moment in history.
Bahamas today confirmed its first case of COVID-19 here in New Providence.
Healthcare officials confirming today
that a 61-year-old woman has tested positive for COVID-19.
My fellow Bahamians, this curfew would commence at 9 p.m. tomorrow.
The first known case of coronavirus was recorded in December 2019, and within months, countries around the world were forced into emergency measures to slow the spread. In the Bahamas, curfews, social distancing rules, mask mandates, and travel restrictions quickly became part of everyday life.
I was hoping it was only a week or two, but it turned out to be 2 years.
I didn't, at the time realize that we would get to that extent where everything would be shut down.
Globally, more than 704 million COVID-19 cases were recorded, and here at home, the virus infected more than 34,000 Bahamians.
Yeah, it was like a really bad flu. My symptoms was shortness of breath, fever, and I think I was in bed for about 2 days straight. before I actually got some energy to get up.
While many recovered, others were not as fortunate, leaving families across the country to grapple with loss.
My auntie passed, I lost a couple of friends, a couple of classmates, but all of them were vaccinated. So we don't know what took them out, the vaccine or the COVID.
The pandemic also triggered a major economic shock as businesses closed, tourism ground to a halt, and thousands of Bahamians lost their jobs.
I lost my job. They made me resign. I refused to take the vaccine, and I also refused to be tested. I didn't want anyone pushing those tube in my nose because I didn't know what was on it.
And while many agree the lockdown measures were necessary to protect public health, debate over how the pandemic was managed still lingers, particularly under former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis.
The whole locking down, shutting down a lot of the industries when half of the world was still open, only certain sectors of the world actually closed down due to the pandemic. However, I think we made a hasty judgment in the full lockdown.
Today, 6 years later, life has largely returned to normal, but for many, the memory of that time still feels close. And with global health officials warning that future pandemics are possible, one question remains. If another global health crisis were to emerge, would the Bahamas be ready? Rebecca Bain, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Rebecca. President of the Bahamas Union of Tertiary Educators, Daniel Thompson, is raising concern over reprimand from the Board of Directors at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute over industrial action that took place in December 2025. Thompson says the move from officials at the institution left a bad taste in the mouth of the union's represented. It stems from workers protesting at the office of the Prime Minister last year in an attempt to have former institution president Dr. Linda Davis removed effective immediately. It also comes days after BTVI announced its new president, which Thompson says will not bode well for the relationship between both sides.
In my mind, it's not a good way to begin a relationship that will enhance good industrial harmony at the academy. We trust that this attempt by the board to almost introduce her into the briar patch will not materialize as those operatives anticipate, but instead she will focus on building harmony at the academy. It is so unfortunate, and I think that speaks volume about the relationship or the appreciation or the understanding of workers at the academy when you're introducing a new president, but you preceded by attempting to take punitive action of activities that allegedly took place from last year. I mean, it was very distasteful, and I think it's meant to tarnish, to taint the relationship with the new president and workers.
The National Insurance Board continuing to crack down on employers creating an imbalance in NIB payouts by either partial or no payment of contributions at all with its compliance performance and recovery or CPR program. A new cohort of officers graduating into the program last week, and National Insurance Board Director Dr. Tammy Francis explains what this means for NIB.
So today we have a cohort of 23 graduates. What this means is this is a step in the direction of enhancing the revenue collection for the National Insurance Board. It is no secret that right now we are operating on paying out more benefits than we are instead of taking in the contributions. But what this does is this empowers us to send these new individuals out into the community to collect the funds for the National Insurance Board.
Coming up in tonight's Sunday feature, the Cancer Society is taking its supporters on a trip to Egypt at its upcoming ball. We'll tell you all about that right after this break.
This is definitely the time for BAMSI to continue to build on the progress that we've made. There's now drone technology, there's now year-round container farming, you have hydroponics, you have aquaponics, you have precision farming. There have been record numbers of enrollments, record numbers of flat fishing certifications. We've had record enrollments in our online courses. Students from across the family of islands, because in BAMSI, we are not just cultivating produce, we are cultivating producers.
It's time to lock in your vote.
Your vote is your power.
With the new boundaries in place, you may need to transfer or confirm your voter registration.
And if you have never registered or didn't plan to vote,
don't get left out on one of the most important decisions of your future.
Make sure when election day comes, you're ready to say,
your say, your vote, your choice.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Everybody get up.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition,
a little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Island Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds. When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun. So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
The Cancer Society's annual ball is back, and team members are already working on plans for a night that will take you across the seas. In this report, our Devontae Hanna gets a glimpse into the event as the society works toward a big goal.
We are happy to have been here this long, but the question is, what does 50 years look like?
And by supporting the Cancer Society's ball, you can be a part of that answer. The Society last week unveiling its theme for the year, 50 Years of Hope, Egyptian Nights. It's an event that organizes hope. Attendees will experience the mystique of ancient Egypt and dress the part too.
One of the things we've also done in those years is we've kind of rebranded the ball as a gala event. So high fashion is always a thing.
Coupled with the lure of Egyptian pride at the May 30th event, Dr. Christine Chen and Rashenda King will receive the Susan G. Andrews Award for their outstanding contributions to cancer awareness and community service.
I am very humbled and I am very grateful, and I'm hoping that that we could carry on the work that we're doing for not just the Cancer Society, but the people of the Bahamas. And we moved here in 1988 when I came as an intern and worked at PMH for a couple of years before going off to residency. But I am very grateful for your nomination.
But at the core, the event is to help fund the Cancer Society's ongoing work. The main goal is a much-needed expansion and construction of a new wing. Construction was initially pegged at $3 million, but has since ballooned to $5 million due to inflationary pressures.
We have plans for another 3-story structure, of which the ground floor will be more of a meeting room and a cafeteria there for the meetings themselves. And then the other 2 floors are more rooms for patients to come in and stay. We have been at this for maybe 5 years now with all the little fundraising stuff and the